the mean streets of New York to the hills of Los Angeles, a voice is rising justice.
Congress does not regulate Wall Street. Wall Street regulates Congress.
The Norman Goldman Show.
A grassroots political movement.
The home of fierce independence, intelligent dialogue, and passionate logic is right here, right now.
Their business model is greed and fraud.
This is the dispenser of fairness. This is the unfiltered truth. This is Norman Goldman.
And by the way, Senator Sanders was referring to Wall Street when he said,
their business model is greed and fraud.
Now there's 3 Bernie Sanders clips for you. I love the guy. His policy positions, wonderful. I've had my disagreements with him on his salesmanship and his branding and positioning, and that has led to a lot of discord, unfortunately, and now we've got still more discord. This latest one, to me, is the height of why the Democratic Party, despite being the majority party in America, keeps losing elections. Self-inflicted wound after self-inflicted wound, constantly making mountains out of molehills, constantly never, ever distinguishing between important, not so important, much less important, and not important at all. Democrats, some of you people are as terrible as the Republicans. My God. No wonder the Democrats keep losing. Don't think they're going to do that personally. Teen drinking down to a 40-year low. Now, that is an amazing thing. Teen drinking is now at a 40-year low. A new national survey finding 40% of teens consumed alcohol in 2015. 40% of teens consumed alcohol in 2015. That's a 40% reduction. That's a reduction in for the lowest in 40 years. How pathetic is that? 22% who said they did so in 30 days. 22% of the 40% of students, I sound like Bernie Sanders again. 40% of 22% of the top 5th quintile, seasonally adjusted. The bottom line is teen drinking is way down, and the teens who binge drink is way down as well. The number of dead in Afghanistan this week, 0. Martin Shkreli, you remember him? Yesterday we did senior legal analyst time. Today, he either quit or was fired as CEO of Turing Pharmaceuticals. Now he's been put under indictment, federal indictment, for allegedly running a Ponzi scheme using companies' monies to pay off even earlier debts. Martin Shkreli is out at Turing Pharmaceuticals.
Hey, Norm, it's Mark Taylor-Canfield. How's my fiercely independent friend today?
Doing my thing, man. I'm glad you called, Mark. How are things up in Seattle?
Well, I'm getting kind of dizzy from all the spin surrounding the Bernie Sanders, Hillary Clinton brewing civil war in the Democratic Party. And, you know, I've been writing at the Seattle Star. It's been rebirthed, this publication that was in Seattle, published in Seattle from 1899 to 1947. Well, it's back, so I've been writing there. And I got some updates on things, but I wanted to throw a couple things at you, and don't worry, they're not sharp metal objects, so it won't hurt. Well, I did want to try something, if you don't mind. It goes like this, it goes, and now, live from the City of Angels, it's the Norman Goldman Show.
Are you suggesting that as an intro, perhaps?
Yeah, I've been practicing some voiceover.
Well, that's really great. Thanks. But I already have an intro that I like.
I know.
And everybody knows. And besides, Mark, the truth is, I mean, every radio show has an intro, right? And everybody knows the intro, and it's always, it's a Johnny Good voice, like you were just doing. And now, here's the Bill Billy Show. Mm-hmm. And everybody knows. But on our show, not only is every show opening unique, but every hour of every show is unique because we left those spaces on my instruction so that I could fit in these silly sound clips. I mean, so literally the beginning of each hour of this show is unique because live I am throwing in all kinds of different clips.
Everything he does is...
So, I mean, I made this show unique. Every hour, every top of every hour is unique and different from every other top. I've tried to make every element of this show different. You'll notice we have a voice lady. Most shows have a Johnny Good voice. Now it's just as you were doing the Bill Billy show. It's our producer. She's a woman. I mean, I'm trying my best to, do what's right.
Well, I've always really enjoyed the sound clips, the sound collage element of the show. That's a lot of fun. And I appreciate the fact that you have humor sometimes. And I was basically trying to do the trailer announcer voice, and,
in a world
right. Haunted by corporate media.
In a world.
It is...
Yeah. But, I also, just to get back on the subject of the day, by the way, this is International Migrants Day, designated by the United Nations.
Tell that to the Republicans.
16 million refugees, displaced refugees around the world right now.
It's astounding. We've got the worst refugee crisis in the world since World War II ended, and nobody seems to be noticing or caring. And in fact, the Republicans are like, good, send them back home. Who cares? Let them die.
Well, I just want to one-up it there a little bit. The city of Seattle and Martin Luther King Jr. County have declared an official civil emergency due to the high rate of homelessness. There are over 10,000 people without permanent housing in Martin Luther King Jr. County, and I'm sure that Dr. King would not be proud of that.
No, frittering away on a global empire, and a tiny sliver of a fraction of that could get people into housing, could get them into the drug and alcohol treatment they need, could get them some, training for a job, could get them a job. I mean, Mark, this nation's priorities are really screwed.
I've come to calling the tent cities that are proliferating in Seattle economic refugee camps, because Seattle has the fastest increasing rents in the country. And let's face it, as the candidate said in New York City, the rents are too damn high.
That's right. I like that guy.
Even with $15 an hour minimum wage, which is actually being phased in over several years, there is no rent control whatsoever in the state of Washington because it's been prohibited by a Washington state law. So it's not even in the hands of the city of Seattle. It's in the hands of our state legislators. And just to throw another couple things at you, December 8th was the 35th anniversary of the death of John Lennon. And Yoko Ono was tweeting, and Rolling Stone was writing about this. She was sending out photos of his blood-stained sunglasses with the statement, 1.15 million people in the United States have been killed by gun violence since John Lennon was killed.
And I have to tell you, I live in Los Angeles, and I do love Los Angeles, and I know it's easy to make fun of L.A., but I do love Los Angeles, and I also love San Francisco. I mean, I love California in the West. Anything west of the Rockies, I'm okay with, as long as I don't have to deal with any Republican. But here's the thing. San Francisco is a wonderful city, and I love it. It's beautiful, but it's got an awful homeless problem. Awful, 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 as does Los Angeles and L.A. County. And we as a nation have a stain on our soul, on our collective national soul, for allowing the kind of homelessness that goes on in this nation. As wealthy as this nation is, to allow the kind of homelessness that goes on in this nation, it's disgusting. Now, for the Bernie people, if you're a Bernie people and you're just red in the face and there's steam coming out of your ears and your hair is standing on end and your eyebrows are on fire because you're fuming about this DNC data breach, I want to ask you this question. Is that more important than getting homeless people off the street? Have I helped to restore some perspective here? And do you think President Hillary Clinton or President Rafael Cruz is going to do more to help us help homeless people? You tell me.